Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm Paul Sandeman, your host. I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source. We help contractors build great teams. I have Jayson Miletta with GDG Media with me today. And I think he's got some information that's going to be, I don't know, it could be like earthquake change. It could be amazing if he can actually do what he says it can. So, Jayson, tell me what you do and how you do it and how you got into this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, thank you so much for having me, first and foremost. So obviously, as you said, my name's Jayson. I'm with GDG Media. Uh, got into the industry by accident, I guess. I owned a company before this, which we scaled and sold, and I had a lot of free time on my hand, which I don't do well with. So I had the skill of knowing how to do not just digital marketing, but some PR on the ground marketing as well. So I created the company, and then ever since then, we've just been growing by implementing what we do for our clients. It's pretty easy to scale as a marketing company if you get good results for your clients and you just
That's right.
replicate that for
You can't
yourself.
grow a marketing company that doesn't say much to your company, right?
Right, right, exactly.
So Jayson, tell me what you do and how you do it for contractors.
Yeah, so we don't have like a cookie cutter solution. There's a couple different ways that we help contractors. Most of those being lead generation is where a lot of our contractors, where we do work with them. So most marketing companies stop the conversation at leads. And I think that only tells one half of the story,
Right.
because I can get you a lead, but if they're not the homeowner or it's not a quality lead, it's pointless for that company. And this is what Angie's Home Advisor, like some of the big guys in the industry do. Um, we stop our conversation at revenue. So we're taking a look at the full funnel and we're going in and we're looking at the 3 to 4 biggest pain points in that company. One of them might be lead generation. Great. We go in, we solve that. The other one might be the average sit rate on the leads that come through. So then we need to add AI automation. We need to put systems and processes in place to increase the show rate. Then we'll look at their close rate. We'll look at their testimonials, their reviews, all that stuff goes a long way. And at the end of the year, it might increase their close rate by 3 to 5%. But if you're doing 1,000 jobs a year, that's a lot of money that we're missing out or leaving on the table. So that's one way. We also do payment processing, so we're instantly able to go in and kind of do some cash savings where most people who accept a credit card, they're paying 3%, 3.5%, whatever that rate is. We're able to go in, save them money, get them into the twos. Usually, we're able to give them a rebate because we partnered with all the major credit card providers where we can give them a rebate and even offer them a sign on bonus sometimes as well. Um, those are kind of the two main ways. Our capabilities range all the way from social, Google, website, SEO. We have a really cool email system, and we've been leveraging AI more and more on call center, email, and LinkedIn as well.
Okay. So you mentioned to me earlier that, I mean, a lot of marketing companies, and I've hired some and I've some clients, they love to show you graphs, right? They go, look
Right.
at this. You got X amount of, you're up 20% here, you're down 3% here. You've got this. Since we've worked together, you've gone up 4 on Google from where you were, blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't generate revenue. I mean,
Right.
I may feel good because a million, I had one video that I think 80,000 people watched, which was nice, but nobody called me, so I don't even care, right? I
Right.
don't care if 80,000 people. If nobody calls me, I'd rather have two people watch it and call me than 80,000 watch it and
Right.
not, right?
Right.
So my understanding is you also work besides the base, you work on some like commission-based base, so you actually get a percentage of revenue that you generate for the company.
Yeah. So there's 3 ways that you can do business, right? Me and you are doing a deal. I can either take on all the risk and work on a commission. At that point, I'm basically a sales rep. I'm, doing nothing more than a sales rep. We don't do that just because I've seen some people's sales process and I'm not completely sold on it. So
Right.
um, The other option is what most marketing companies do is they're going to pass all the risk on to you. So they're going to say, Paul, here's my monthly retainer. I want to get paid X every single month. We believe in splitting that down the middle, sharing risk. So, you're invested in us, we're invested in you, and everyone cares about driving revenue through the campaign. Because if we're incentivized by a rev share model, our scope of work gets bent a little bit, because if I know something's going to get the job done and get a sale, I'm obviously going to do that because I know I'm going to be rewarded at the end. And that's where we take on less clients. We take on less clients, but we grow with them. So obviously, if we make someone an extra $1 million this year, they're never going to have an issue with paying me. We stay long term, and that's how we've been able to grow over the past 2 years.
That works. Now, you don't have to give away the secret sauce, but I heard in the I have done, I think probably easy 1 million emails, I'm sure, right? And it's never worked for me. And I'm sure a lot of contractors saying, yeah, I'm with this email company, I using Go High Level, pick one, sale, there's all the zillion out there, right?
Right.
I've done all these emails and I keep spending money and nothing is happening. I mean, have you got some way to actually, you don't have to be how, but have you got some way to actually make them work? You mentioned you use AI
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, so the biggest thing with emails is when you are using high level Mailchimp, any of those big ones out there, they only send from one email account and one IP address, basically. So what they're going to show you is they're going to show you your deliverability rate, which is the key factor. The deliverability rate they show you includes main inbox, newsletter, promotions tab, and spam. Because
Okay.
technically they're still delivering. They're just not delivering into the main inbox. Industry average for that sits at around 60%. Our main inbox deliverability is 95%. And that excludes the newsletter, the spam, and the promotions tab. And the way we're able to do that is we actually set up real accounts through Google Workspace or Outlook. And each of these accounts can send 50 emails per day. So we have Jayson and Paul at abc.com. Jayson and Paul take 20 of their 50 emails every single day, and they have a conversation back and forth with each other. So they're marking emails as important, removing them from spam, replying to them. That tricks Google into thinking that Jayson and Paul are real people. So when they send out their other 30 emails, they also get marked as important and land in the main inbox. And then we replicate that and we create hundreds of reps to get that large volume of emails getting sent out. And then another big thing is personalizing the emails, right? We don't want a newsletter format. We don't want anything that comes off super salesy. Like, this is what typical email marketing looks like, right? And the reason why you don't ever get a response on those is people feel like they're getting sold, and everyone hates getting sold. So all we want to do is spark a conversation. Email should be less than 50 words long. And we just want to get an answer out of them. From there, we can then take them down the pipeline.
So what you're saying is you have a system to where you can actually get appointments with me, because to me it's all about appointments. You can have all the
Right.
conversations you want, but unless I can physically talk to somebody, I mean, if you look at our company, we're number one on Google, we're number one on AI. You pick it, we're like the best recruiter in the country, but nobody calls me. I mean, like, because
Right.
they just don't look for recruiters on Google. So and same thing happens with contractors. So if you can figure out a way actually to get somebody who's doing a remodel or fixing their house, or actually to call the guy, because right now everybody pretty much depends on spending a ton of money on like Google ads or some way of paying for leads, that it's getting more and more expensive because as private equity
Right.
shows up, there's more cash available, and private equity is jumping in the construction industry because they're getting terrified of everything AI can replace, including coaching,
Right.
consulting. If it's information for money, it's done in time. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
So
Right.
you can't right now, AI can't fix a faucet, it can't build a house, it can't do anything physical. So there's a bunch of private equity coming in. Well, the bad news for that, I call it the Walmartization of construction, is the people coming in are smarter, better, and faster and have a lot more money than you do. So, you know,
Right.
and they got a marketing department, they got an ad budget that crazy, and they're only going to come in, they're going to like take the classic trades industries like electrical, plumbing, home building, and and they're going to just take it over by spending more money and saying, look, I can outspend you. I can spend 200 Google ads. I don't care. And you can't spend more than 20. So have you noticed that ads are getting more expensive, especially Google ads and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's actually one of the main points in our strategies that we do is specifically for contractors is the rise of private equity and exactly what you said, verbatim. I mean, we say it in all of our calls. So we need to figure out a way to outsmart the private equity guys. And the way that we do that is through our email system. We're leveraging AI. Um, because a lot of these guys are just dumping money into Google ads or social ads. They don't think about marketing in a creative savvy way like we do. So that's why we're doing beta testing on an AI call center right now. That sounds like a human. Can't even tell the difference. Right now we
Hey,
have a
I've used it, and it's getting AI it's getting better weekly, not actually monthly.
right,
It's crazy, right?
right,
So what you're saying is your company, rather than saying, oh well, we're going to use a traditional, it's all about SEO and pay per click. That seems to be everybody's conversation, right?
right,
So we're going to increase your SEO so you have better presence on Google, and we're going to pay for pay per click. So when people go to Google and look for you, they're going to find a plumber, an electrician, some kind of remodeling contractor. They're going to click yours because you're in the top three versus somebody else, right? But being in the top three is getting more expensive literally every day.
right. Exactly. Yeah. So we call our email system our virtual door knocking system because that's essentially what it is. We take the homeowners or the businesses, if they're B2B, in their service area, and we're just knocking on everyone's door. And that's basically what we're doing at mass volume.
Yeah, actually,
And
I have
then,
a contractor that went back to literally door knocking. He found out sending
yeah,
somebody to the neighborhood and knocking on doors was more effective than Google because he was a roofer. Like, there's a roof. I know it's bad. I'm at your front door. I
right.
can fix your roof. And I actually got to have a conversation, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And another thing that I kind of want to highlight here is when someone does respond that they're interested on those emails is we have a in-house call center that will call that lead, qualify them, make sure they're the homeowner, the whole 9 yards. We can either A, schedule them onto the sales rep's calendar, or B, just pass them off to the office to let them do that. But that is also a big thing that we do is we actually qualify the leads that come through.
Right. So it's not just, I mean, because the traditional problem with email is the quality of leads suck. I mean,
Right.
because, and yet usually, now the quality of the leads, when they finally get somebody to go on their website, that's not bad because they're actually going through their web, they know who they're calling, they're responding. But the problem with emails or direct calls, you get so much spam, so much garbage that you have no trust, and anything goes a
Right.
little bit sideways and you're done, right?
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's it's getting worse and worse, honestly. Like everyone's inbox is getting flooded. Everyone's doing cold email, which is why we have created that system to make sure we land in the main inbox and we come across as human as possible. Um, but I actually think that lead quality is just dropping across the board when you're running Facebook ads, someone can accidentally click on a link, fill out a form in one push of a button. That's a bad lead. Someone can accidentally click on a link in Google. That's a bad lead. What I do like about email is they have to physically respond, yes, I am interested in your service. We then reply, and then they have to reply again. So they're taking time out of their day twice to reply that they're interested in that service. 9 times out of 10, we actually see that the lead quality from lead to appointment is higher on email than it is in Google and social.
Now, one of the things that I mean, I've had have concern with is people say, well, texting is way better. Well, I can understand texting, but texting has a lot of rules around it, and you do not want to get fined because you're
Yeah,
sending some unsolicited text, and some an astronomical number that you can get fined for
right.
sending unsolicited text, even though you would get them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, texting is definitely they just came out with a bunch of rules and regulations on it, but it is illegal if someone did not opt in to get solicited by you.
Right.
Email is not the same as long as you have a business address on it and you have a unsubscribe or a stop button somewhere on the email. It's completely legal as long as you take them off of the page once a day. Now, this is
Right.
not legal advice. Please consult with
No,
your lawyer, attorney.
I
But
understand that. Jason, that way. And the thing is, you've got, the government changing the rules all the time. You've got AI getting better every week, and you've got people using AI to attack AI, to defend AI. And the playing field, I've been in this industry for 50 years, and I've never seen the playing field change as fast.
yeah,
Because usually you can count on something at least to be good for 4 or 5 months, right? Or 6 months. But today, it's like what you did a month ago may not work now
right. Yeah, I
because,
mean, we see it just with basic SEO, right? You look something up on Google now, you have an AI report that pops up on Google. It's not even, just normal Google. They have that summary that pops up. So I know a big industry that people are trying to pivot into is that AI SEO, right? And making sure that you're in that artificial intelligence report and not just regular Google SEO.
right. So, I mean, this all sounds almost too good to be true, but I have faith. So let's say someone is spending money with a marketing company that's not anywhere based on results. It's just based on numbers and activity. And there's no connection to the bottom line other than it's pure overhead, right? And you're trying to
Hmm.
get down to cost per lead and that kind of thing. And they're interesting. Look, I would like to talk with somebody who's going to go in business with me, share the risk, share the upside, and as you said, you're willing to take some of the risk at the same time you're sharing the upside. So, how do people get in touch with you? Because I imagine everybody listening to this podcast has some marketing budget, and 99% of them are just spending it in faith. And they look at a bunch of numbers and statistics. And when they get leads, they're not actually sure where they came from. They just sort of show up. And there's no trackable thing. We got X amount of leads, but I'm not sure where they came from or how, whether it was common referrals, whether it was what SEO magic, whatever that is. So they're interested
Right.
in looking for results. How do they get in touch with you?
So they can look us up online, GDG Media, as in girl, dog, girl. Um, you can look us up online. We'll pop up. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also call the office line, which is 609-805-4857. And we'll be more than happy to help you out. And we are also running a promo right now, Paul, that anyone on this podcast can feel free to jump in on. For the next 10 people who contact us for a website, we normally charge around $2,500 for a website. We're doing the website completely free of charge as long as they host it through us, which everyone pays hosting fees already,
Right.
for $50 a month. So for the next 10 people who end up doing a website with us, we are doing a completely free website. We'll redesign it. We'll do all the basic SEO on the back end, completely free of charge. So feel free, if there's 10
That's awesome.
contractors out there that want to take advantage of that,
I
feel
may
free
take
to
advantage of
contact.
that for myself. That sounds awesome. Cool. All right. Well,
Awesome.
if your current marketing company is not sharing the risk with you, you're just paying them money and praying, I would definitely suggest giving Jayson a call.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Paul, for having me on, and anyone reach out.
I appreciate you being here. Thanks, Jayson.